Have you ever noticed that the kindest person in every room is always the most exhausted one in it? The one who remembers everyone's birthday, the one who absorbs everyone's bad mood without complaint, the one who apologizes first even when they did nothing wrong. What if I told you that this isn't virtue? What if I told you that your kindness, the thing you're proudest of, is also the reason you keep getting hurt? Not because kindness is weak, because undefended kindness is not virtue. It's an open field, and every open field eventually gets stripped bare. The reason is hidden inside a part of you that you were taught to fear, a part of you that you locked in a room a long time ago and told yourself it was dangerous. Today, we are going to open that door, and once you meet what's inside, you will never apologize for your edges again. Let's name what your days actually feel like. You say yes when your entire body is screaming no. You absorb someone's cruelty and call it understanding their pain. You give your last reserve of energy to people who have never once asked if you had any left to give. The human mind has hidden patterns. Subscribe to the channel. Stay aware. And at the end of the day, you lie there, not peaceful, but depleted, wondering why being good feels so much like being erased. You are suffering because your kindness has no guardian. This is the invisible prison, the belief that to be a good person, you must remain unarmed, that the moment you protect yourself, you become the thing you were trying not to be. So you keep choosing the exhaustion. You call it virtue, but underneath the virtue is a quiet, growing resentment at the world and secretly at yourself. Here is where most people misunderstand everything about kindness. They think it's a personality trait. It isn't. For many of you, it is a survival adaptation. Carl Jung called the face we present to the world the persona, the mask we wear to be acceptable, to be loved, to be safe. For you, the mask was niceness. Somewhere in a childhood home, a classroom, a relationship, you learned a brutal equation. Anger gets punished, but agreeableness gets love. So you built a self entirely out of accommodation. And the part of you that could say no, the part that could feel rage, set a boundary, take up space, you didn't kill it. You couldn't kill it. You can never kill it. You exiled it. Jung called this exiled material the shadow. Everything about you that was too dangerous to keep in the light. And the cruel irony is this. The thing you thought protected you, your relentless agreeableness, is actually controlling you. It decides who gets to use you. It decides how much of yourself you're allowed to keep. It has been running your life from behind a smile. And here is the part almost no one tells you. That exiled part of you, the one you've spent your whole life suppressing, is not your enemy. It never was. There comes a moment, for almost everyone watching this, when the cost of the mask becomes unbearable. A betrayal by someone you gave everything to. A breakdown after years of swallowing your own needs. A single, quiet thought at 2 a.m. I don't know who I am without being useful to other people. This is the rupture. This is the moment you are forced to look at the thing you exiled. And here is what you'll find if you're brave enough to look. It is not a monster of cruelty. It is a monster of will. It is the part of you that knows the difference between mercy and self-betrayal. The part that can say no without flinching. The part that remembers it has fangs, not to attack the innocent, but to stand at the gate. This is terrifying because you have spent your entire life believing that kindness and ferocity cannot share a body. But they were never enemies. They were estranged siblings, kept apart by your fear. This is where most people stop. They get a glimpse of their own anger and recoil, terrified they'll become cruel. So they shove the monster back in the room, lock the door again, and return to the exhaustion. Don't be most people. Now let's talk about what actually happens in the real world when you integrate this. Human beings are exquisitely sensitive to undefended softness, not consciously, but somatically, instinctively, the way a predator senses which animal in the herd has no guardian. This is not an insult to you. It is psychology. People, even well-meaning people, will unconsciously test the edges of anyone who has never shown that they have edges. This is projection at work. People who fear their own aggression often unload it onto the person who seems incapable of pushing back. You become the canvas for everyone else's unprocessed rage simply because you've never once shown you could refuse to hold it. But the moment your kindness is backed by a guardian, the moment people sense that your gentleness is a choice, not a vacancy, the entire dynamic shifts. You don't become harsher, you become unmistakable. People stop testing a fence that has teeth. This is not about becoming cold, it's about understanding that your kindness was never meant to be free of consequence. Mercy without memory is not mercy, it's an invitation. So who do you become once the monster and the gentle one finally meet? Not a victim, not a permanent peacekeeper, not someone who confuses self-erasure with love. You become the guardian. The guardian still gives, but gives from surplus, not from depletion. The guardian still forgives, but remembers. The guardian's kindness is no longer an open field. It has a fence, it has a gate, and standing at that gate, quiet and unshaking, is the very monster you once feared. You didn't tame it, you didn't kill it, you finally let it do the only job it ever wanted, to protect the soft, extraordinary thing at the center of you that was never meant to be left undefended. Your exhaustion was never proof that you give too much. It was evidence that the part of you capable of protecting your kindness has been locked away, exiled for being too much, when really it was simply unmet. You do not have to become cruel to stop being prey. You only have to stop apologizing for the fence. So I'll leave you with this. What did your monster learn to protect back when no one else would? Tell me in the comments. I read every one.